Hey there, it is Laura Duffy. I am back again with Mainly Birthing and Jazz Hands. Woohoo! So we are talking this week about the second trimester. Last week we went over the first trimester, and this week it's all about the middle. So with your second trimester, oftentimes, but not always, oftentimes if you did have a more challenging first trimester, the second trimester would be a little easier, not so much acid reflux, not so much nauseousness or vomiting. If you are still having these issues, then definitely talk to your care provider and check out what your options might be for that. So with your second trimester, we are going to talk a little bit today about your researching is going to continue. That's right, because there's a lot of things that we're going to need to learn about the actual upcoming labor and birth, but there's also some decisions you get to make beforehand, for example, in your second trimester. So one of the things that will often happen is your provider will recommend that you get an ultrasound, and this ultrasound is used to help just to verify that baby's growth is going fine and everything is going well. You can also find out the gender of the baby at this point, if that is something that you choose. And as it turns out, you don't even have to get the sonogram. So that's the thing, that's kind of the key, is there are going to be a lot of tests that are recommended or mentioned, or you might hear so-and-so did this or did that. And so it's now is your time to do your research to say, okay, what will this test show me? What are the pros and cons of having this test done? What would happen if I did it or I didn't do it, or, what are all of my options? So yes, you are welcome to have a sonogram if that is what you would like. And if you don't want to have one, that is your choice as well. Another thing that will be recommended in your second trimester is gestational diabetes test. Isn't that so much fun to say? So with that test, you're generally given a very thick syrupy liquid, very sugarful, if you will, and you go into your appointment, you drink it, and then they test afterwards to see how you are handling such amounts of sugar. That being said, you can have the test, that's great. You can opt not to have that test, it's totally up to you. Another thing you can do is actually talk with your care provider about maybe skipping the sugary liquid and just having a really good breakfast or lunch before you go in, and just discussing what those meals might look like. So you don't have to drink that sugar if you don't want to. And some people love it. So again, all your choices. Another thing that I wanted to mention today that they might mention is an amniocentesis. Now, this is a test that they do. They do take a needle and they get some amniotic fluid out. And what they do is they test it to see if there are any defects in the babies. So if this is something that you're interested in having, you can have it done. There are pros, there are cons, there's risks versus benefits kind of a thing. So I would definitely recommend doing your research. This is something that often comes up in geriatric pregnancies, which I greatly dislike that term and most things that go along with it. That being said, there is so much information out there. So there's plenty of information. Things that I would recommend on these topics specifically: Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering. This is a great book by Sarah J. Buckley, MD. If you are into the ins and outs and the science and all of the studies done, this is a really, really great book to have. And another great tool to use is the Evidence-Based Birth organization. If you go to evidencebasedbirth.com, if you have any questions, they take the different studies and they balance it out. They say this is what has been determined from a variety of studies. So yeah, there's a lot of research out there. There are a lot of interesting blogs and videos that can be somewhat fear-mongering. So that's why these are the two specifics I would recommend: Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering, and Evidence-Based Birth. So yeah, and of course, talk to your doc, talk to your care provider. So again, just letting you know that yes, second trimester is your feel-good trimester, and your little baby bump is really starting to show, and it's all wonderfully good things. And it's your job right now to be a good parent, not a good patient, but a good parent, to do your research, talk with your provider, and come to the best decision for you and your family. So all of that being said, I want to say stay happy, stay hydrated, just keep on breathing, and we will see you tomorrow with the next episode. Peace out.